You spoke to the Bears GM yesterday.
Yeah.
What is Ryan Poles saying or not saying?
I think the one thing, there are a lot of things I respect about Ryan. I think Ryan's done a really nice job in a short period of time improving this roster in a lot of ways. Has it been perfect? No. The Chase Claypool trade was something that didn't work out. There have been other small issues, but for the most part, I think Ryan's done a fantastic job. He's been very honest. I think he's been very professional. I think the things that I cling to from what he said yesterday, first and foremost, were that they're going to do right by Justin. And that tells me, Dan, I don't think you start talking about doing your quarterback right by handling the situation with being professional and being honest about it. I think that's the right way to do it. But you don't even, I don't believe, go down that avenue if you're going to go forward with him. So I think it was kind of to me, a telling
Yeah, but if you
conversation.
want to do right by Justin Fields, you keep him and you pay him. They're not going to do right by Justin Fields.
Well, Dan, I think doing right by Justin is if you've made the decision, and he talked about, Ryan also talked about a lot of, no one wants to live in the gray, no one wants to live in between. I think there's more gray with regard to where they could trade Justin and teams that would be willing to dance with them versus where Ryan Poles is with regard to his decision with the number one overall selection. So with that, if they've made that determination, then doing Justin right means making a deal sooner rather than later. It works for everyone. It's better for the Bears. It's better for the team that would dance with you. And it's better for Justin to make that deal sooner rather than later. And I think when he references doing right by Justin, he's talking about handling this with a professional approach and keeping him in the loop at all times. I don't think, the only thing I would push back on, being professional doesn't necessarily mean that you cave to making him your guy going forward and paying him. I would say be honest with him and keep him in the loop.
Yeah, Ryan Poles has to do what's best for the Bears, not what's best for Justin Fields. This isn't a situation where Bill Belichick hand delivered Jimmy G to the Niners because he didn't want Jimmy G to go to Cleveland.
Right.
It's rare when a coach or GM or owner does something like that. But if you're Ryan Poles, you didn't draft this guy. Your job is attached to the next decision you make.
Yes.
I'll do right by Justin, but I'm doing right by the Chicago Bears.
And Dan, I think in a lot of ways, this is a unique situation. How many times does the team with the number one overall selection have a 7-win season the year before? Like usually that guy's going to a team that's had 2 or 3 wins.
Sure.
So I mean, if the Bears had the 10th overall selection, our conversation isn't about where we're trading Justin Fields. Our conversation's about whether or not they're picking the 5th-year option up and how are you going to improve around him. I think Justin is unfortunately a victim of circumstance right now. I think Justin's a good quarterback. I don't think he's an upper echelon quarterback, and he's got room to grow. But this, to me, is a conversation because of the luxury the Bears have with the first overall selection. And if that's Caleb Williams or whoever it is, that guy is coming into a situation where there is some infrastructure. There is some foundation that is being built. And there are other assets that can be deployed to make that guy's transition from college to the NFL a lot smoother than a lot of other ones.